What's going on? ServSafe Manager, 8th edition. If this is your first time watching this, these episodes are cumulative. So when I am talking and I'm referencing terms that you don't understand, they will either be covered in a future video or I already talked about them. I recommend going back and starting at episode 1 and working your way forward. If you need to study for your test and you do not mind adult language, I have a full 7th edition playlist that is designed for foul mouth line cooks. And it can be found, is it over here? Or I don't know if it flips. It's going to be up here somewhere. Anyways, today is all about things you cannot see. Pathogens, bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, and biological toxins. This isn't going to be able to cover absolutely everything. Is because I want to be able to give you all of the information in a digestible way that is easier to understand. So we have what we call the big 6 in food service. Well, not just food service, just everywhere. Well, whatever. If you're cooking food, there are 6 main dealy bobs that you have to worry about. So the first one is Shigella SPP. The next is Salmonella typhi. And then we have non-typhoidal Salmonella, which is a little hard to pronounce, as you could clearly tell. If you see something abbreviated STEC, I'm going to butcher this a little bit. It is Shiga toxin producing Escherichia coli. I might have pronounced that slightly wrong. It's because the word looks like this. I am not a doctor. I'm just telling you how to kill those things. Abbreviated as STEC, also known as E. coli, the stuff in the lakes when the goose poop and you're not supposed to swim in the lakes, is what my dad told me when I was 12. Because I could die. I got E. coli once. It is awful. And it is something that I cannot describe on this edition of ServSafe. Hepatitis A is another one. And Norovirus. I'll put them up. I'll put them somewhere. I'll put a graphic up or something. The reason why these are the big 6 is because these are the most common. When food gets infected, it's usually by one of these. Now, there's 3 different types of communication. I covered that, or communication. There's 3 different types of contamination. I covered that in, I believe, video 1. But today is all about just the biological stuff. So, general information. Let's talk about bacteria. Bacteria can be found pretty much everywhere. Obviously, there's going to be places where we deliberately sanitize, which is part of food service, these clean things. They are single-celled living organisms. And they can spoil food and make people sick. That's why we wash our hands. This is something that there's 2 different types of spoilage. There's the sour milk, rotten meat smell that is caused by some bacteria, spoilage. But bacteria, this is a common misconception. Bacteria actually can't be tasted or smelled, obviously, or seen. They can't be tasted, smelled, or seen. There could be some weird thing on this table right now because what if I was like playing with hamburger and I had it on here and then I removed it and then I just used like a dry towel and wiped it up. There could still be bacteria on it. And then, if I touch stuff, I touch my coffee mug and my face and everything, gets everywhere. It gets all over everything. If you ever watch one of those, there's like a YouTube show where they like put this like invisible powder on stuff and they show like how badly stuff can like spread.
Brother, what's that?
It's pretty bad. Just smelling chicken or smelling beef and going like, oh, it smells fine. Maybe not. It may not be fine. And we'll get into why here in a little bit. Sometimes the bacteria is the infection, but a lot of times the bacteria causes toxins. And that's why sometimes you still get sick even if you cook it at the right temperature if the food was time and temperature abused for too long. It's because it produces a toxin, and some of these toxins do not break down with heat. Or if they break down with heat, it is much higher, like in the 200 or 300 range, than if you were to handle food correctly. That is why time and temperature is so important. And I will hammer on that. I'm pretty sure I covered it in one of the other episodes. If not, it's going to be brought up a lot, trust me. I'm going to talk about Fat Tom. Fat Tom is actually a, what do you call him? A thing where you abbreviate. If there's somebody playing this for a class, which is why I'm doing these safer work, what's that called when you use a word to like describe? It stands for different words. So the first word is food. And these are all, each letter is something bacteria needs in order to be successful at reproducing. So F is for food. It needs biological stuff in order to grow. Next is acidity. Bacteria grows best between neutral of 7 and about 4. 7 is neutral. 8 and above is basic. So if you are talking to somebody and she's basic, her pH is around 8. I got that joke wrong last video. I got corrected in the comments by somebody that's smarter than me. Just to give you an example of something that is more acidic, lemons are about 1.8 to 2.4. So the lower the number, the higher the acidity. Mayonnaise is about 3.8 to 4, thereabout. So that's why you can't open a jar of mayonnaise and leave it out on the counter for 2 weeks. And that's also why you can create ceviche by cooking seafood in lemon juice. Sorry, just hit that microphone. My bad. So the T is for temperature. Temperature danger zone. And if you don't know what the temperature danger zone is, it is between 41 and 135. If I said something in a previous video, it's wrong. If I said something last year, it's wrong. If somebody told you something different, it's wrong. 41 to 135. Now, there is a second kind of like worse danger zone, I guess, and that is between 70 degrees and 125 degrees. This is where bacteria produces the fastest. I got the accordion hands. The fastest, 70 to 125. Celsius, by the way, is 5 to 57 for the first one, and the second one is 21 to 52 degrees Celsius. There's going to be cooling methods I'm going to be talking about where you have to get the food out of that 125 to 70 range really quickly. And then it's like, I believe it's 2 hours. Don't quote me. I'm not there yet. And then another 4 hours, I believe, to get it from 70 down below 41 degrees. So a total of 6 hours of cooling time. That's why blast chillers are so awesome. So that is the FAT in fat. Now TOM, T-O-M, TOM, time. Bacteria obviously needs time to grow. Now, after 20 minutes or so, the bacteria will double. Something being left out for 10 hours, you're looking at billions of bacteria because every time it doubles. So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, blah, blah, blah. You're smart. You know what I mean. Now, there are 2 different types of bacteria. There's aerobic and anaerobic. Anaerobic is, I believe, botulism, which is why it's important to know how to can things and to sterilize your like glass jars and stuff like that appropriately. But a lot of bacteria do need oxygen in order to survive. That's why vacuum sealing, as long as you're doing it correctly and properly, will result in much longer, your food lasts a lot longer. We have a vacuum sealer at the house. I use it constantly. So for Tom, time, oxygen. Now M is moisture. A lot of bacteria need moisture. So obviously when you dry jerky out, it lasts longer. Now I've seen jerky in gas stations. There was actually okay, I got a story for you. So I went into a gas station. I won't say which one. It was in Nebraska anyway, and I live in Texas now. But I went into a gas station, got jerky, had mold on it because of moisture. There was moisture in the air. And it got in the bag and mold grew on the jerky. So being a nice person and not wanting other people to encounter this and maybe accidentally start eating it before they realized, I brought the bag of jerky to the front counter. And I said, this bag of jerky has mold on it. Here you go. But I want to buy this bag of jerky. He looks at the bag of jerky and says,
oh, it's probably just seasoning.
And kind of tosses it to the side. And I'm like, you're going to get somebody killed, buddy. Anyways, just a little... That guy is not trained in food safety. So yeah, that was a video about bacteria and viruses. I hope you learned something. If you did not learn anything, I apologize and you can have your money back. So we're in chapter 2, by the way. Now there are a lot of things. What do you guys want to, let me know in the comments what you want to learn. If nobody gets back to me in the comments on what they would like me to cover next week, I'm going to talk more about toxins specifically, and I'm going to stay on like viruses, toxins, and like that. The biological contaminants. There are a lot more toxins that you might realize, and a lot of them are in like fish and shellfish and stuff like that. So stick around for that. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Shiga toxin producing Escherichia coli. Look at how happy this guy is to put his glove on. He's just like, yeah, dude, this glove is so good. I love this glove. And she's like super happy to take the temperature of the like food. She's like, temperature. Oh, there's a demonic acid. Oh, demoic acid.